Matt, did you know that most people don't listen to podcasts about money?
Then why did we even start a podcast about money, Joel? Market research fail.
Seriously, right? But I think that's because most of those other personal finance shows, they make it difficult to connect big money concepts to our personal lives.
We started our podcast, How to Money, because we're best buddies who enjoy talking about money topics that matter to normal folks like us. We tackle topics like creating a dope side hustle while you're home, maybe a terrible investment.
Oh, and we do all that while sipping some delicious craft beer.
Wait, did we make a podcast as an excuse to drink really good beer together every week?
Yeah, kind of. I think so. So if you're ready for finance to get personal, be sure to listen and subscribe on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for How to Money.
The Christina Lynn Podcast.
Who are you talking to right now? Who is it you think you see? Do you know how much I make a year? You clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am the danger. I am the one who knocks.
Whenever someone sees that I have tattoos, the responses come at a rotation between, oh, I could never do that, to I'm afraid of needles, and I've always thought about it, but I just can't. Here's my response to anyone who wants to get a tattoo, but fear is holding you back. I had a lot of hang-ups before getting my first one. And even after my first one, I carefully considered the people around me and future events in my life when I was planning my next few tattoos. I had been brought up in a pretty conservative household, and tattoos were almost nowhere in my extended family. I had one cousin who got tattooed in her 30s, and even though she told me that waiting that long made her a little bit more secure in her decision, she didn't realize that she gave me a green light in my head. Because of her, if I got tattooed, I wouldn't be the first one in my family. My mom, who works for the church, always reminded me that my body was special and sacred, and to not, for lack of a better word, ruin it with tattoos. Because of that, I went to piercing. I figured I could always take out a piercing and almost assimilate myself into the culture and see if I really enjoyed it or not. I got my first ear piercing, then my second holes, then one on a vacation. I got my cartilage pierced. With my first boyfriend, we got cartilage piercings together. Needless to say, I think both of us took that one out after that relationship. Let that one close up. Then I went to belly button piercing, and unfortunately this was one of the worst stories. It turns out my body rejected belly button piercings on me, and I say piercings because the first time it was rejected, I figured maybe it was a fluke, so I attempted it again. Long story short, my belly button is now disfigured. Half of it is scar tissue. Next was the nose. I got my nose done twice. And this was a harder one to love because I had jobs that didn't allow me to have nose piercings. So I would have to take it out and it would close up pretty quick. When I got it done a second time, I'm failing to remember why I took it out. I think maybe I just had one of those, this is how old I am, I shouldn't have a nose piercing moments. But recently I've wanted to get it again. So whatever, let's just leave the nose piercing thing to the side. How does any of this segue into tattooing? Mainly because I realized that the process of piercing and tattooing gave me the same feeling. The voluntary hit of pain and ability to care for and heal with it afterwards. All of my piercings created a new thing that I could make sparkle or show off in some way. It added a new, fun accessory to my body and my life. With my first tattoo, I was under something of a time pressure of being away from my parents for the night. There was an event later on that specific day. We had found an artist at last minute, and I went through probably 5 or 6 different forms of what I wanted to get. More than anything, though, I had to convince myself that whatever it was that I decided on, I would love, and it would be fine. It was relatively small, and it made me feel kind of badass. I was afraid of needles like everyone else always claims to be, but something that people don't think about is that tattoo needles don't penetrate past your skin. It scrapes away a few layers of skin in order to put the ink in there, but this isn't your normal doctor's needle, which to this day, I get lightheaded at the sight of. It's a joke I always crack when getting blood work done. I'd rather get tattooed for 3 hours than deal with this kind of needle. 9 times out of 10, it gets a laugh. From there, I got addicted to the feeling and the overall process of tattooing. My next one was going to be purchased for me for my birthday. I kept overthinking that one. I kept thinking, okay, would this be visible in a wedding dress? What career am I looking into having? What potential employer would think about this tattoo? What would my kids think of me as a mom with this? What will I look like when I'm 80 with this tattoo? But then I split the difference and chilled out. I got a simple row of stars down my back, 15 exactly, for my birthday. I thought, hey, I could always build off this if I want more. I could always cover it. It's simple enough. And so what about what people think for the most part, right? Then after that second one, I slowly, and I mean slowly, meaning years, realized the significance of and true nature of tattooing to me. I met an artist who did around 6 tattoos on me within about a year and a half's time. I had them all be in places I could easily cover up and only barely shown when wearing a tank top and shorts. One day, when he and I were discussing one of the 6 tattoos, he looked at me and said, "Stop hiding them." At that moment, I resented him and was offended. I kept thinking, okay, but you're a tattoo artist and you don't know what it's like. I'm trying to get a good job and have a clean appearance to the world while keeping my little permanent artwork to myself, like a little hidden gallery of art. But then I realized he was right. I kept hiding these beautiful pieces that I spent time and effort designing and conceptualizing, most of which carry a specific emotional significance. And then it happened. I stopped giving up. I realized that if there's an employer out there who looks at my credentials and qualifications as a positive, but my tattoos as a negative, I wouldn't want to work there. If my children had any reason to dislike me because of my tattoos, then I wasn't a great parent teaching my children tolerance, art, and significance. That if anyone had any judgment to pass on me because of my tattoo showing, that's on them, not on me. For me to make a decision that affects my body because of the potential of people being stupid was dumb on my part. Those that matter don't mind. Those that mind don't matter. So what if I'm 80 with tattoos? If I'm lucky enough to live that long, I'll be the hip grandma in the nursing home. And I'm sure I'll have people around me who also went through the same line of thinking when it came to tattoos. And guess what? It's a long path to 80. What other decisions do you make for yourself based on 60 years in the future or situations that haven't happened? Not many, if any. So why should this be one? Lastly, technology is kind of moving fast. So I figure if I'm at a point in my life where I truly hate any piece I got tattooed on me that I can't get covered up with another, there will probably be some new and non-invasive way of getting rid of it eventually. So here's my advice to you. Do whatever the you want. This is your body, your skin. How does it make you feel? What does it mean to you? Each tattoo is a representation of that point in life. I have a barbell on the back of my neck that reminds me to live up to it. I have a diamond on my right hand to confirm to myself it's the only diamond I really need. The wings on my back turned into a legitimate transformation, not only of it, but myself, with the original attempt to keep it from being shown in a tank top to getting it covered with an even more elaborate and beautiful piece out of my original dreams and conceptions for myself. I have a few pieces I got with people who wanted to get one tattoo, to get the experience over with, and that reminds me of the time that I bonded with those people. Just do it. The needles aren't the needles you're thinking of. Yes, there will be pain, but I'm sure you've endured worse. And guess what? You won't tap out of a tattoo, I guarantee you. Yes, there will be people who ask about them, but be prepared to not give a. It's your tattoo. You don't even need to relive the true significance about it with anyone. For example, I have flowers on my quarter sleeve that are trilliums. People don't really recognize them because it is a rare flower. When people ask what they are, I say they're rare flowers. People that I care about or who care to know the actual meaning behind them, I will tell them there's 3 trilliums for my sisters and I grew up on a street named Trillium Trail, so it reminds me of my family. Another example, I have daisies on my inner arm. Basic answer, they're watercolor style daisies. Long answer, my mother's favorite flower is a daisy. They were her wedding flowers and were all over her wedding dress. Also, we always had rows of daisies planted in front of the house I grew up in. See what I'm saying? And again, if there's a place or person who's going to hold your art against you, then get rid of that person or situation. It's not their skin. It's not their place. This is 2019, and we have come a long way from the biker gangs and prisoners being the only ones with tattoos. It is an art form. It even started as an art form. And to me, it is a customization of my body. I am a living memorial to my family, and I'm happy to say that I'll never lose any of my tattoos. The Christina Lynn Podcast.